Chris Eubank Jr versus Conor Benn will not be close. We're days away from arguably the biggest rivalry in boxing, 2 years on from when the fight was originally meant to take place, and today I'm going to talk about the key points going into the fight, and it's going to be explosive, not to be missed. If you're new to the channel, my name's Lawrence Oswecki, a professional boxer and also former member of GB amateur boxing team. And I will be doing a live stream for the fight, so make sure to tune in and we'll watch it together and break it down. Whatever people say, this fight is huge and it goes back to the dads because they started the rivalry and they had some of the best rivalry in British boxing. Both Chris Eubank Sr and Nigel Benn really hate each other. Two huge characters, larger than life, but completely opposite.
He's the real hype. I come up the hard way. I didn't
prove myself, boy.
You had your time. Let's have some parliamentary procedure here, all right?
Oh, God.
And the thing is, the two of them could really fight, and that's why the rivalry was so great. And as the saying goes, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, because the sons are exactly the same, opposite personalities, but they're now carrying the torch and going to settle the score. If you'd asked me for a prediction 2 years ago, when the fight was meant to take place, before Ben got a drugs ban, it would have been easy. I would have said Chris, because he was just ahead on every level. But now, 2 years on, Ben has closed the gap. So in a weird way, not that I agree with it, but the drugs ban for this fight has actually done Ben a favour. And don't get it twisted, because I'm completely against drug cheats in sports, especially boxing. It's dangerous enough. I'm just saying the extra time has done Conor a favour. And Chris Jr has doubled down on the whole situation, and rightly so, and he's made a point of embarrassing Conor, and I don't blame him. And at the first press conference, face-off, he slapped him with an egg, and I thought it was hilarious, and all the people whinging about it. It's an egg, for God's sake, and it's made the fight even bigger. And listen, I'm not saying that fighters should go around smashing eggs off each other because boxing's about respect. I'm just saying under the circumstances, I get it. With Conor blaming eggs on his failed drugs test, which is ridiculous, I think he kind of deserved it. And really, if that's your excuse, the best you can come up with, you definitely deserve it. To be honest, I really like this version of Chris. I think he single-handedly promoted the fight. I think ever since this fight was made, he's really come into his own. But what is sad and I think's a real shame, Chris Sr, he's used the egg slap situation to push himself further away from his son, calling him a disgrace.
I'm gonna stand in your corner. You must be mad. You must be mad. I would never be in your corner. You're a disgrace. You're smashing an egg in someone's face and then you're saying you're trying to justify it. There's no justification for that. There's nothing noble about that.
His son's in the biggest fight of his life. Instead of supporting him, getting behind him, he publicly puts him down. It's crazy. I couldn't imagine it. The simple fact is, the fight's happening because of the dads. And Chris Jr probably wanted to be a boxer because he looks up to his dad. You know, because he loves him. The man who he loves the most is gone against him. It's crazy. We'll move on because it's a whole conversation in itself. Both guys have had inactivity, but Conor hasn't fought since the start of last year when he fought Peter Dobson, and he didn't really look great. He had the drugs ban and he couldn't fight in the UK, so he fought in America, and like I say, against Peter Dobson, and that was it, £154, and he couldn't put a dent in Dobson, and now this fight's at £160. In most of Conor's career, he's fought at 147, so it's a big jump. And Conor's defence wasn't great. He was getting hit far too easily, and his punching power was nowhere to be seen. And really, Dobson wasn't really there to win. You know, when he put it on Conor, he was getting success. If he had been there to win, it could have been a different story. I was there in Saudi with a pain game, the back end of last year, when Chris fought Kamil Saramata, and to be honest, he didn't look great either, maybe slightly better. And that fight was also made at £160, and to be honest, Chris didn't look great, he looked gaunt. I seen him in fight week, he was sweating it out, trying to make weight. This time round, he's had more time to prepare, and also he would have took the fight more seriously, so started the weight cut earlier, but I am concerned the weight's an issue. There's so much at stake with this fight. It's about legacy, bragging rights, and the dads, they fought twice, and in the first one, Eubank Sr won, and in the second one, it was a draw. So currently, the Eubanks are 1 up. I think a lot of this fight will come down to who wants it more, who's more hungry. And when it comes to hunger, I think Conor wins in this department. In being the younger man and early in his career, naturally, he's going to be more hungry and more driven. And Conor's also got a chip on his shoulder, like his dad did. Like it's him against the world. So he'll be desperate to prove everyone wrong. So I do think age will play a part, because Chris, he's had a longer, harder career. He's been in some great fights, but tough fights. So it might be a case of how his body is holding up. Is his speed still there? Is his timing still there? Is his chin as good as it used to be? But with age comes experience, and experience you can't buy. You've got to give credit to Chris. He's fought some great people, the likes of Arthur Abraham, James DeGale, George Groves, Billy Joe Saunders, Liam Williams, Liam Smith. The list goes on. He's had a great career. Win, lose or draw, he's fought these people when they were in the prime, whereas Conor's fought people when they were past the best, the likes of Chris Algieri. It was a good win, a good knockout, but he was way past his prime. Even when it came to the build-up, the mind games, Chris has just been one step ahead all the way. He's had Conor like a puppet. He's played him like a fiddle. And that's simply because Chris is older, wiser, and he's been here before. He's got that experience. Then we'll have the rehydration clause, because I do think for Chris, the weight's an issue. 160, I think it's hard for him to make now. And after weighing, he can only put on 10 pounds. So here's the problem. If Chris is going to dehydrate himself a lot, 10 pounds rehydration may not be enough, not for optimal performance. In his ability to take a punch, it's dangerous. Conor, being the naturally smaller man, but fully hydrated and fully fueled, will then be the advantage. Maybe I've got it wrong and Chris makes the weight fine. He's had plenty of time and he'll have a nutritionist on board. But at the same time, I still believe him making 160 is difficult at this stage in his career. Okay, so let's get down to it and give you my prediction. I just think one of these guys is more intelligent, more emotionally stable, has a better chin, more experienced, and is the naturally bigger guy. You've guessed it, Chris Eubank Jr. I just think in this fight, experience is key. And as the saying goes, a good big guy beats a good little guy. I just think for Conor, on the night, the emotions, the pressure, his lack of experience, everything might just get on top. To be honest, the pressure for both men is going to be absolutely immense. I mean, it's bigger than a world title. You're talking legacy, family bragging rights. It's mental. In two fights I'm excited for on the undercard, Lyndon Arthur versus Anthony Yarde. I actually fought Lyndon Arthur in the amateurs. He beat me in a close fight. I thought I won, but you can't argue when it's close. This one's a hard pick. Both great fighters. It's a trilogy. It's 1-1. It's a difficult one. I think both guys at the best. I'm going to go with Yarde. I think he's been in there with better opposition. I think it's a real 50-50 fight, and I think it'll come down to who gets the tactics right, but I'm going with Yarde. In the second fight is Vidal O'Reilly versus Chevron Clark. I've actually sparred both guys, exchanged blows. It was a long time ago, back in my GB days, and in recent years, I've actually been on the pain game with Vidal. I'm going to go with Vidal. I'm backing my guy, but I also think he's just a better fighter, more skillful, and he's got more potential. And don't forget, I will be doing a live stream for the fight, so tune in, bring your friends, and we'll watch it together. Tell me your predictions in the comment section, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the stream.